this video, we're going to continue working on the second structure, which is going to show the platform frame. We've already added a layer of plywood to the top. Underneath here, we have some horizontal framing members. We have a beam or girder and some columns within this crawl space. And we're going to start adding some more components. So this is a page from your textbook, and what we can see here are a number of wall framing components that, as it's noted here, typical ground floor wall framing details. So this is something like what we have. We have our foundation wall here. We have the rim board. We've already added this layer of plywood. What we'll do next is add this bottom plate or sole plate. We'll put then on top of that some studs, and then double plate at the top of the wall. So back in the Revit file, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make a change to these levels. I have indicated here level 2 as 10 feet 1 7/8. We're going to drop this level. So I'm going to click on the level here and change the value to 9 feet 3 7/8. And I'll explain a little bit more about that later. Okay, and then we have this 18.5 up here at the top, and that can remain as it is. All right, now we're going to go to level 1. And what we'll do is we'll begin to add that bottom plate. So we had already added a component for the sill plate. But we're going to create a new one from that same profile. So I'm going to go to architecture component, and I'm going to look for oh, you know what? It's going to be, you're going to find it under structure and beam. Yes, we're kind of using Revit to do things that perhaps it wasn't exactly intended to do, but this is again just to illustrate how to put a frame together. So here's my sill plate. I'm going to click on that. And again, the plates are horizontally arranged, so we want to use the same orientation where it's horizontal in the nominal 6-inch direction and that it's vertical in the 2. So I'm going to go to edit type. And I'm going to duplicate. And, you know, perhaps we could have used the same plate for both conditions. I'm just going to call this one plates. The lowercase x, s, 2x6. So you just want to remove the sill from that. And we'll use this for both the bottom or sole plate and the top plates. Okay, and I'm going to hit OK. All right, now I want to place this this bottom plate at the perimeter of my plywood. So under structure, beam, let's see here, plates 2x6, and I'll go ahead and start to place them. And it's a chain. I'm just going to go all the way around, and then I'll make some revisions to it shortly. Bring it all the way. Up to the corner here. Okay. So let's take a look at it in 3D, and we'll see what kinds of revisions that we need to make to it. So what we see here is that it was center aligned with the edge of that plywood subfloor. So we're going to need to realign it. I'm going to try to do this from sections. So I've got section number 1 here. I'll come in. All right. So the other thing that I can see is that I have located it too low. So I need to raise it up. It's going to be sitting on top of the subfloor. And I'll just temporarily change this to a higher scale. And it looks like one of my rim boards here is too high too. That one needs to be minus 0.75 inches. So I'll go ahead and repair that. Why? Okay, so now it's sitting in the correct position, but I still need to move that sill plate. One thing that you can do is click on an element, and if we want to select all 4 of them that I just made, I can select all of them that are in the entire project. Now, this is the only time that I've used these plates, so I could click on that and it will select all 4 of them. So you can see the one on the right side is in the same selection set. And then what I can do is change the height. So remember, this is a 2x member, which means that it's an inch and a half. So I'm going to raise it up 1.5 and apply. Okay, now it's at the right height, but I still need to go around and realign it. And I'll go to modify and use the align tool for that. Click on that align tool, click on the grid line, and then click on the face. And I will have to go around and do this to all 4. Align, column line, etc. And I have another section, this one right here, that I can use to align the other 2. Align, column line. And I have to remember to go back and change the scale, right? It's not so easy to read, but we will get into some larger scale drawings later. Align and here and here. Okay, now let's look at it in 3D. Right, now I'm going to have to work on a few other alignment issues I can see here, but at least it's at the right height for the moment. So now when I kind of come into a corner, I can see there's a whole bunch of misalignments here. I'm going to go to the Revit tool and try to spin around here to take a look at what the problems are. And then I'll continue using the alignment tool to kind of fix some of these. So I'm going to click on align. I want to align this face here to this edge of the plywood. Let's get that in a better position here. So I will then close that navigation wheel, click this face here, and click on that face. Okay, and looks like my rim board also needs to be realigned. So I'll go ahead and do the same thing here. I'm going to pick this face and align that rim board. So they should all come to the corners. You may need to go around the whole structure and make these repairs. So I've gone around and cleaned up all the corners so that all the members are meeting at that corner line of the foundation wall. And that's those are all the steps for placing that first bottom plate or sole plate.